why he threw his mama under the bus like that.
Well, I mean, he's just telling it like it is. They touched on it a little bit. Yes. I want to welcome y'all to the You Wasn't Outside podcast on the Grown Folks Podcast Network. I'm one of your hosts, not doing the most. Normal ass Carl to my front. I have my man at Just Lex, a.k.a. Teal Breeze.
And
boy, you done matched the mic, the cup, and the pants at the same time. And the mic is actually originally blue, but like weathering and age got to it. So now y'all all just matching. The shoes on the feet. Show them the shoes, man. You different right now. Go ahead, look at him. Him size 13s too.
Don't act like. What size you wear?
I wear 13.
Let me hold those.
Yeah. You wear 13 too though?
I do.
Dang. All right. 4 pairs only at Foot Locker. That's a tough. That's how it is, man. What's up, bro? What's up with you? We'll start with you. Last week we started with me. What's up, man? What's new? Besides your V-neck.
Shit. I mean, it's Mother's Day. We still here working.
Yeah.
This one's a little, little tough day for me.
Yeah, definitely.
And man,
you just gotta face it.
I did a lot of work this Mother's Day.
Today?
Yeah. No, throughout the week. Cause some shit, I hate when like easy shit just don't like. Nothing ever goes smooth for me.
Yeah.
Like if it's supposed to take one call, I'm gonna have to call like 4 times. And so what happened was I got her this from the kids, this customized like love book, and then you can kind of like create your little emojis or whatever and then write a story.
Yeah.
And some shit.
Oh, it's like digital.
No, it's a real book.
Okay.
She did this to me for our first Valentine's. So I was going to flip it up on her.
10 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, got you.
So I made her one from the kids, and it's coming from NorCal. They's like, I ordered it like 3 weeks ago. Like
plenty of time.
Plenty of time, right? The thing is, I was going to send it to neighbor's house. So like, just in case, she'd be like, oh, I thought it was mine, because I don't ever get shit.
Right.
And then so I put the wrong numbers on it. Like hella dyslexic, right?
Right.
It was supposed to be this. I put that one on. And so I looked and I saw the tracking number. I was like, why this shit ain't here yet? And then they were like, and then I saw the numbers. I was like, oh man, I fucked up. So I was like, does this place exist? Because I could just go over there.
Right.
But I guess it got sent back to sender. And I was like, all right, we still got a whole week. I told them what happened.
Worst time.
And I gave them the right numbers. And then I'm looking on Thursday. I'm like, why this shit ain't here yet? And it got held up again. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? So I went out. I emailed them again. I was like, yo, but at this point, it's not going to be here on Mother's Day.
Right.
Like, it's fucked up. I went on my lunch walk. I ran down my mailman. I was like, yo, do you have a number I can call or someone you can check in with to see if this shit left the city yet? Because I can go pick it up.
Where's it at?
Well, he didn't. I didn't know because it didn't say where it was at. It just said
no. But where's it coming from?
NorCal.
Oh, okay.
And so he sat there. He couldn't find a number. Finally, he gives me a number. I'm like, cool. I walked off. I called the number. It was a postal annex, and he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. We don't receive USPS mail like that. Or whatever.
Just gave you a number.
I was like, yeah, for real. And the first time, the other work I had to do the first time was I was like, oh shit, this shit is gone, because I call USPS and they're like, oh, we don't have it. We do this dual thing with UPS. And so they have it. And so I call UPS and they're like, nah, we don't have it. Once we drop it off to USPS, like it's no longer in our ship. I was like, but they told me to call you. So I'm like, man, this shit it just vanished. Fast forward back to that. I finally get a good number because at this point it's getting late. And if it was undeliverable yesterday, that shit's going to leave. I call them, the one in Eastlake, and he's like, I couldn't find it. I'm like, but sometimes the mail carrier will bring it out a second day before they ship it back to try it again. I was like, all right, call me back at 4:00. Whole day goes by, call him at 4. And he's like, yeah, I don't see it, man. Let me get your number real quick when I have more time to look through some shit. I was like, all right. Then he calls me back at 9:30.
At night.
I was like, I didn't know y'all shit was still there. He's like,
fuck with you.
I found it. I was like, for real? He's like, yeah. It says I don't know why this happened. They combined the address I wanted them to send it to and my real address and put it as one word. I was like, how does that even happen? Anyway, Got the book on time. Gave it to her this morning. All good.
There we go.
But all that for simply just like, all I had to do was make the book and pay for it, and it should have been here.
Yeah.
And I had to do all this.
Packaging is weird, and it's funny you said that because I ordered some golf balls. I ain't checked the mail in a week. I was like, oh, they be in there Saturday. I went and checked the mail finally. They wasn't in there. Company I normally deal with, they in Orange County. Shout out to them because they've made it. I'm not going to say their name, but they made it because they at least got their shit in Target in the physical store, right? But the one that I'm looking for, they don't sell in Target, right? So I hit them up. I'm like, bro, what's up? Like, oh yeah, we usually do 7 to 10 days. No, you don't. I've been with y'all for about 5 years, dog. Your shit be used to send out like a day after that. I, used to put that shit out there. So, I look at it from like, and I was asking myself like, well, how do I get my money back? Because it's not like PayPal. That's why I like PayPal and shit, because I can dispute things, right? I think my bank is one way to do it, but yeah. Anyway, so yeah, other than that, it was cool. Our Mother's Day, we went to Puesto in Mission Valley. Nice little spot. I don't know if you ever been there.
Yeah.
My cousin looked it up from D.C. because she's just a little petty like that. And she was like, oh, okay, got a Michelin star. I didn't know that, but it tastes like it do. So it was pretty solid. Took the whole fam out, my aunt, my mom, grandmother, and my mother-in-law. So we all went out again. I think that's become our tradition. Especially because they know I pick all the cool spots. So they be like, oh, yeah, let's.
And you paying for it?
Yeah, that's pretty much true, too. Yeah. In some regard. Hey, because our Father's Days be trash.
Man.
Hey, look, we can get this off because we go celebrate the mom, so we can talk. Look, he put the cup down.
Now I'm remembering something.
But the Father's Day be trash because I was talking to my mans. I ain't gonna say who because I don't know. Whenever she listened, but he was going through the laundry list of all the stuff that he had, bought his sig other. Like he's like, yo, Lululemon pants, workout shoes that was like $200. He was like, the only time I get fire gifts if I get in her ass about it, right? Like I don't ever get nothing, So she got him an Apple Watch 4 years ago, and he had me dying because he was like, she was talking to him about something. He's like, look, man, he's like, half the shit you do, I can go out and get it myself. He's like, I want you to understand that. That's a good bar to get off. And she was like, well, you don't appreciate nothing. Let me get my Apple Watch back. He's like, all right, cool. Let me get, and he was like, that was 4 years ago. I'm due for a new one, right? Because the batteries die after some time anyway. But he's like, I'm due for a new one anyway. And he was like, let me get my Lululemon pants, my workout shoes. And she ain't never give him the shit back, right? My man's went out and bought a new Apple Watch and just go have one on in the wrist. They live together. I don't know how you going to get that off.
It's a real fight?
Yeah. Absolutely. Pettiness.
Well, I was picking Zeke up from school on Friday, and he came in. He made mom like this fire little story, a little fucking sunflower and shit on it.
Yeah.
And like some other stuff. And he was reading it in the back. And I was like, man, that shit kind of dope. And I started thinking, you ain't never going to be in school in June.
Hey, you got a point. Hey, that's a bar. I ain't never did no Father's Day gift in school. Yeah. Shit. Well, yeah, my bad. My bad.
Yeah,
but yeah, man, it's cool. It's cool. He's here now. There we go, man. I was thinking about that shit with Jonah. That had me fucking dying. He's like, you don't know he's really hurting me right now.
I'm gonna hold it together.
Oh shit, man. Yeah, Father's Day, we get all the trash shit. All right, man. Let's get into it, man. We'll get straight to the Mother's Day shit because I know we're gonna sit up here and talk about it for a minute. We'll blend them all together.
You need hand claps?
Yeah, I need the hand claps, please, when you get a chance. Good sir. Fun facts. Mother's Day spending for 2023 is projected to reach $35.7 billion. Now, in comparison,
Father's Day spending.
I don't even think we touching the bill.
No.
Because I think that normal mother, I don't know what it is about this year's in particular, maybe COVID, people feel safer about being outside now. It's officially over, whatever the case may be. But it said annually it does normally about $7 billion. So it's doing like damn near like 4 or 5 times more than
I think it's the biggest day of the year for restaurants.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. And not Father's Day at all. Man, so Mother's Day became an official holiday in 1914, signed into law by President Woodrow Wilson. Now, I was sitting up here thinking, I was like, yo, wasn't that like the whispering times of like Great Depression, World War and all that other shit. See, the government will be good for trying to give you a holiday and in times of turmoil. Like, yo, we going through some shit.
The uproot is how we got Juneteenth, right?
Hey, that's coming up next. And they was they had this little thing on social media where they was killing us. Because, you know, right, especially us being a border town, you going to have more and more people who are not of Mexican culture that's going to be out there celebrating, specifically, you know, black folks and shit like that.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so that some of the memes was like, yo, don't get mad at the names we choose. Because, like, we was culturally appropriate. Like, my name would be Miguel and you would be Francisco. They was like, hey, don't be mad if I'm Darnisha next month. You know what I mean? But, yes. Oh, and we celebrate Mother's Day. Shout out to... God dog it. Come on, man. We got to get this right. Cinco de Mayo. There we go. I was thinking because Mexican Mother's Day was on Wednesday. So like there's plenty of holidays I got to culturally
You got a double dip in the house?
No.
You one of those, hey, you in America.
She got a solid gift.
You told her that?
Matter of fact, we could put this in here together. Because you were talking about gifts and shit like that. You said you had Mother's Day gift issues, so that's what you was talking about. Was that specifically, right?
Yeah.
Do you ever have problems with, okay, do you like what do you typically get on Mother's Day?
I mean, you got to start with flowers.
Absolutely. I do got a fact in here that would change your whole perspective maybe, though, about that. So I'll keep it.
I don't. It's not for me. I'm sure that there's a lot of facts about flowers. I'm like, oh, fuck it.
But Mother's Day, yeah. I don't do the flowers, though, because my mom said that they die. So I was like, you know what?
Yeah, but... she'll never admit to this.
Did she put them in a vase and all that too?
Yeah.
Okay.
When we first started dating, she was like, "Yeah, I'm not even big on flowers like that."
Now
she was on. She was like, and then out of nowhere, some years down the line, she's like, "You don't ever give me no flowers or nothing." I'm like, "Cause you told me. I thought we was on the same page."
I think you didn't let me know you switched up on me real quick. Yeah, that's needed. Yeah. So we got start with flowers.
Usually. The thing is, I can't really shop for it like that. So like today, I just cash after like $100.
Just call it a day.
And then like, you know, wherever we're going to eat or whatever's going to happen.
So then, I don't like cards either though. Like, yeah, it's a cool message, but I feel like I could text that to you, especially since like a lot of our shit is like text based. But I would do it because I feel like handing something just empty handed isn't like the greatest thing possible. So like today, I went out. I got all my Mother's Day gifts today. Right? People are simple, especially like in this climate that we're in. My aunt, I know she likes to read books. Barnes and Noble card, easy off the bat. My mother-in-law, she loves going to stores and shit like that. Let me get you a Target thing, right? My grandmother, she don't drive no more, so she ain't really going to the movies or whatever. But guess what? Chick-fil-A is right down the street from her house, and she loved chicken. Got her a Chick-fil-A gift card. My mom got an Apple Watch this year. Now, she kind of asked for it, but she thought she was going to get it for her birthday, and then had the nerve when she opened it up today to say, this was supposed to be for my birthday. Like, don't tell me, like, don't tell us what we got to do. The $150 got spent or whatever between me and my dad, no matter what. So, like, yo, you go get this.
Yeah, so I did a book this year. Last year, I got her some vinyl.
J. Cole, I imagine.
Yeah. And I do year before. I don't know. I think my gift giving is improving.
She gets better gifts than you do?
She gets...
Absolutely, yeah, she does. Because she got you a whole little trike. It ain't a trike. But,
I was like, wait.
But she got you the little electric scooter.
Yeah, she just... But also, it's one of those, like... I mean, yeah, I wanted the bike. I like the bike.
You ride the bike.
But I don't need... I've only ridden it like a few, 3-4 times.
To places where you save a lot of money on gas, probably, too.
Yeah.
If you work down the street, would you ride it to work? Yeah, I imagine.
Or I'd actually probably ride a real bike, depending on the
situation. Yeah, man. I just I try to get sensible stuff, especially like in the climate that we're in right now. Like I try to let people like, you know, self-determination. You choose whatever's good for you. The money's just as good as like the thought process, but I'll tailor make it. You know, something that you're gonna eventually use. There are more than 100 countries around the world that celebrate or recognize Mother's Day on their respective dates. So I guess there's different ones. And it hit me today because we were potting today, right? I don't think I've ever potted on a Mother's Day before. This is actually probably the first one. But I was like, man, I wonder if other countries celebrate like in China, what are they doing today? You know, or like in Mexico, like what are they doing? Oh, Mexican Mother's Day was on Wednesday. A few kids didn't show up to practice. All right. But then do you get double dip and get Sunday too? You know what I mean? So I was thinking about that. Like if they, get a chance to switch it up. More phone calls are made on Mother's Day than on any other day of the year, with approximately 122 million calls being made. That's crazy because that's one extra call that you would make. Actually, 2 extra calls you would make today than what you normally would do. So the number is up, right? I made a few calls too. I called my.
That's right. I called a lot of people yesterday.
Yeah, and I don't know, man, because like as I get older, I see how busy people get. So it's like it's not like I get to check in on people all the time. So I use the holidays as a reason to like check in to people, just like people have done before me, and I can't look at it as like, oh, well, you don't give a shit. Well, it's not that I don't give a shit. It's just not at the top of my list. You know what I mean? But I definitely I call my cousin Stephanie, right? I talk to her now more frequently than I have ever before, maybe because I'm older, because she's older than I am. But I called her on Mother's Day. She ain't even got no kids. She got a dog, but her mom lives with her. I even asked her, hey, yo.
She ain't got no kids.
Yeah, she ain't got no kids. I just called her and said, hey, tell your mom Happy Mother's Day. You know what I mean? I don't think my Aunt Desi is text messaging like that. And if it is, I can only imagine, based on like seeing her when we was in D.C., I can only imagine how that's going to go down. My mom got a little lit today, too, right? I'm surprised that she's still up and moving right now. Because the joke that she told me had me dying, right? I think my grandmother was sitting at the end of the table. My grandmother's about 85, 86 years old. Or maybe even 84. But my mom was like, they asked something, and my grandmother wasn't sure. And then my dad turned to my mom. Oh, it was about Brown v. Board of Education. And so my dad turned to
interesting Mother's Day topic.
Absolutely. Chris brought it up. He was like, Ruby Bridges? I'm like, and then, I'll tell you the other joke off mic because that shit hilarious what Alonzo said. But then my dad turns to my mom and was like, your mom don't remember Brown v. Board of Education? And my mom, with a straight face, no hesitation, said, probably not today.
Oh, man.
I said, yo, that's your last margarita, fam. You over here, my grandmother turned her neck like this. What the fuck she talking about? Oh, man, I was weak. Mothers will certainly appreciate any flowers they receive, but a single carnation is the traditional Mother's Day flower. We've been overdoing it for a long time. A lot of sauce on it. Damn, that's what I'm saying. Single carnation, I could do that. The average mother will have changed approximately 7,300 diapers by the time her baby turns 2.5. That number, her number might be even more than, we got 2 kids, so the number might be accurate, like extremely accurate, and she ran a daycare, so it's probably about 30,000 in her lifetime. It's gonna be crazy. I know my number is not even above 200.
I like to. I'm like, diapers are terrible for the environment.
Absolutely.
So you're going to sit in it a little bit longer. If the average baby is doing 6 diapers a day, you probably doing 4.
Oh, that's true, because you used to say that. I'd stretch it out. It's just number 1 in there.
Because when they was at daycare, I was like,
oh, yeah. They go through it like you got to go buy the box and take it to daycare.
Like, man, how come when the wipes is at my house,
they
last
stretch
a whole month?
Here is about a week and a half.
Like, you only need fold it. You only
fold
need
it.
fold that shit, man.
Folded is crazy, man. Oh, man. All right, last one. The most common Mother's Day gift includes cards, flowers, spa visits, and experiences with family.
Yeah, spa visits.
I feel spa visits is legit, but I mean, I don't know that many spas. As a matter of fact, I think I was talking to Cecil. We went out Friday. I think he going to the little spa that y'all went to in Hillcrest. I said, oh, shit. I didn't even give it a breakdown.
I definitely tried to get that shit reimbursed from my FSA account.
They didn't count it?
They weren't having it.
They said that shit
not
back.
Doctor prescribed.
Oh, man.
When I went in to get my glasses replaced, they had these ones in stock. And she went to get them. I was like, oh, shit, my insurance is that good where they covered all the way now?
Yeah.
And she went this whole thing. She's like, yeah, it's going to be like $192 today. I said, hey, I'm getting a surgery like sooner than later. I just need something to hold me over.
Right.
She said, well, our more economical choices.
Economical.
So thank you.
The word economical is crazy.
She looked at me like I mean, it's one of them like every case.
What day's your surgery date?
Tom Ford, Chanel, like that whole thing. So I was like, man, is there anything in here that my shit will just cover?
What'd you wear?
These are Ray-Bans.
Oh,
But the ones I got, I don't know what the fuck they call, but they was the only ones not in the case.
they was Mark Echoes, huh? Anything Mark Echo is cost
I'm not
efficient.
wearing nothing Echo. Take that right.
You would wear no Echo glasses?
I didn't wear Echo growing up.
Oh man, I don't blame you. Look, dodged the bullet.
Fire.
He dodged the bullet. I thought it was.
Yeah, I
Definitely had that big ass rhinoceros on my shirt. Shit was looking bad trash. All right, man, hit my hand class. We're going to breeze through this, man. We ain't going to hold up too much time. Lex got somewhere to be. He was gracious enough to still come by. We're going to run through it. Random shit to fill in time. You said the bridge, best generation.
Oh, yeah. So I ran into it a couple times from two different people. And anytime somebody bigs up something I'm involved in, I'm like, yeah, that's true.
Okay.
So this dude started calling about people born between 1985 and 1995. He calls them the bridge. And we are technically the greatest generation that ever lived.
Why is that? What was his reasoning by that?
I'm gonna go to it right now. I'll read both of them. Oh, that wasn't it. There it is. People born between 1985 and 95 are the most unique generation of all time. Here's why. They are in between two generations, the one before the internet and the one technology took over, and the generation after. The generation before us was old school and believed in working hard. The generation after us believes in working smart. We saw it all: radio, TV, Mario, Nokia, Nintendo
Solid movie,
64, Samsung, iPhone, PS4, tape, CD, DVD, Netflix, Snapchat, emojis, virtual reality. The generation before us can be scammed with simple emails and asking for money and offering love.
Pause right there. That's a great point for me to get into a story, and we're going to stretch this pod out, okay? So Monday, I threw my back out, right? I think I remember telling y'all this. Like, I found some like exercises on IG. So I hit my massage lady up, and she's like, she's like, yeah, I moved, right? She used to live in La Mesa, so she lives out by SeaWorld now. I was at home when I hit her, right? She's like, you be here at 2? It was like 1:15. I was like, nah, I ain't gonna make it. Like, I gotta be back here. Like, the practice, I know what the traffic's like hitting through Old Town and everything on the way back. So fast forward, she moves all of her stuff, and then she finds like she's trying to like do a sale of all the like stuff in her house because the place that she's moving into is pre-furnished. And so she said that she got scammed out of like selling all of her items. Now I saw this on Auto Trader when I was trying to sell my car. And originally, you can post an ad on Auto Trader and you'll get automated emails from people. And it'll say like, oh, I'm a doctor and, you know, I live, you know, 2 cities away or whatever. But my brother is able to come out there and see everything. Let me know who I need to make the check out to. I'll send it over, have him check it out. So she got one of those. And they scammed her out of like, I think like $2,000 or something like that. Because she was trying to sell some couches and some other stuff, right? She had some nice couches and they were some heavy duty joints. And so she filed a claim with her bank, right? And she was like, they sent her the money and they gave it all back to her. And then what she said was that the bank came back like the day I got in there, it was like 3 weeks ago. So when I got in there on Thursday, she said the bank took the money out of her account. And I was like, look, there's a difference between fraud and scams. She was like, and basically the bank, I was like, nah, they're the same thing. And then she gave me a definition where I could not dispute it. Basically what she said is that a fraud is like someone like accessing your account versus like being scammed that you voluntarily were looking for a service and paid for it and then didn't get said service or something like that. I was like, yo, that's fucking crazy. So I agree with what you said because I would have noticed that because she's in her 50s. I would have noticed that versus her not noticing it. Because when I read it, I was like, well, nah, dog, if you can't come up here, I'm not going with that. So I agree with that statement.
The generation after us knows it's better to have 4 emails, one for serious stuff, one for social media, financial transactions, and one for experiments for things you don't trust.
I do that with social media too. And I also do that with our emails.
We are the generation that knows tradition and question it, picking from picking from it from what makes sense. The generation before us knew no questions. The generation after us knows no tradition. We are the age. That's why I was like, I believe all this shit.
Yeah, that was rough.
We are the age gap between the industrial age and the internet age. We understand both sides from experience. We should be running the world. The old guys don't understand what's going on anymore, and the new guys don't fully understand what's going on. Where what's going on comes from. And that was his thing about it. And then the other guy kind of said the same stuff, but a little different. Maybe he didn't add.
But our story's not done yet, right?
No, we're only in our 30s.
But I feel like also he's right in that, like, so today, like, you know, I'm like, I owe my dad some money, and he didn't want me to transfer it via Venmo because he didn't think he knew how to get the money out of his account when it's really just 2 buttons that you click, right? And so the way he looked at his phone when I transferred it to him, because I waited till we was in person, the way he looked at his phone was kind of like, nah, I'm way lost. Whereas, like, I feel like any new piece of technology that comes out, like, we are the generation that would be able to figure it out. You're one of them too, right? You lived as a dinosaur with that old ass Android for a long time, but you do fine with the phone, right? You start figuring out how to post and what was hip and what wasn't. You know how to make your little story statements in there, get your little 2 cents in the fact and everything. It's like, yo, like, we're a generation where we can figure shit out.
I feel like you shade me right
now.
Nah,
being real though, like I feel like we're a generation where we can just figure shit out. Right? It doesn't have to be made easy. Like I referenced this before. One of y'all put in, I think it was you, because you really good at like get off my lawn type shit. But you sent the video where the kids couldn't tell time.
Yeah.
And that shit was crazy to me, right? He had an analog clock, and he was like, yo, what time is it? It said 2:15. Kid was like, oh, it's 2:70. He's like, yo, what time is that, dog? And then I looked at their wrist, because y'all was like, nah, they serious. And they had on Apple Watches. And I was like, damn, that's crazy, because we do live in a generation now where you can go out and find things, right? Or you can go out and find the information and not have to look for it too hard. Yesterday, I was trying to experiment making some taco shop salsa. Fucked that up completely, right? Like real bad. Like jacked my stomach up and everything. Mouth was on fire. So she found some recipe online, right? And I can recall to a time where you couldn't find that. You was going to have to get that from somebody through word of mouth.
I gotta go in grandma's cookbook.
Oh, girl said, "Oh, put 25 chilies in there, dog."
How big of a batch was you making?
It was like the size of a cereal bowl, like, but it was it only filled to like a quarter. I only dipped 1 chip in there, Lex.
You gonna die,
bro. And then I found out later on, going through some more shit online, bro. Like they put way more shit in there than just the chilies. I don't know what recipe she got. Didn't have the nerve to tell me, "Oh, you want a taco shop style, so this is." No, fam. They still put the other shit in there too, bro. They just keep the color of red. So, but yeah. Yeah, man, I agree. You know, go ahead, read your next story that's on there. I ain't reading that.
I don't know what
I'll offer my 2 cents on it, but I'll read it. We don't know who this girl is, but if you want to find her name is Onika.
You put it
no Nicki Minaj beef. You know what I mean at all.
Should we do this on Mother's Day?
I thought about that same thing too, but I kind of want to get it off. Might as well stir the pot.
Turn it up.
There we go.
What was I thinking? I was like,
this is a very rare. You was hot. You was mad whenever it was.
No. I think I thought it was just content.
It's kind of crazy. You can disagree with what she said. I only read the first 3 lines because I wanted to be surprised.
Females are no prize. Be realistic. Half us ran through at a young age. Half y'all want a man to pay all of your bills and expenses, hair, nails, outside food, etc. Half y'all messy as fuck to the point you can't see the floor in y'all bedrooms. Can't clean it all. Dishes be in the sink for days, weeks. Half y'all abusive as hell and think it's so cute. Half y'all hop in a new relationship or situationships quick as hell and be insecure the entire time about the relationship and start acting controlling. Half y'all still don't feel anything but lust for your man. Half y'all will cut off a man for taking advice from his own mama. Half of y'all don't know what the fuck you need and want and don't trust them the entire time because of your own insecurities, and you treat a man like he's the one that played you in the past when he could in fact change your life and be a motherfucking blessing. Damn, that's a long ass run on sentence. Half y'all don't let them have their own peace. Sleep for hours, drink a little, be on the game for hours after work, go out with his friends. Don't even let a man hold the door for a lady without getting mad calling him friendly. Go out and ask these men out, pay for their gas, pay for their meal, open the door for them once in a while. Be the driver instead of the passenger sometimes. Give him random gifts. Y'all get rejected by a man once and start calling them names. Taught these men that no means no. Can't be mad they started learning their own worth.
Now, what I got to get Lex at, right? I got to get him good at adding some of these comments. I wanted to see what the people were saying in the comment section. Do you remember? Did you check? Or are you not there in your social media quest yet where you don't...
Nah, I think the way it was presented to me, I didn't see any comments.
Okay. Look, I agree with half of what she said, right? And the only reason why I only agree with half, right? Like the bills and all that other shit. We read that story off last week about old girl and old dude and him buying a car and all that, and his girl wasn't fully appreciative of it. The numbers are the numbers, right? Generally speaking, women still make less than men do, right? So their obligation and the representation is not going to be that way all the time. The one thing that I do ask of, though, right, and my wife, I would say she's getting better at it, right? Because, and she'll admit this, but she'll be mad that I'm talking about it. But I've been saying that a lot, these last few weeks. But like we used to go on trips a lot, right? And at the time, she had a new, when we first met, she had my stepson and everything. She wasn't able to move around as much. Liberation of getting bread. Look, here's the deal. Most people don't hit mature age of like getting money and not depending on parents and stuff like that. I'm not talking about her. I'm just talking in general until the age of 29. Right? So to fully blossom, like some of the shit that I've been out here doing and stuff like that, I wasn't able to do that at 24 because I had to grind for something. And when I got to where I wanted to, I can enjoy things now, right? So my whole point in this is that, like, not everyone's going to be established out the gate, right? I was talking to a friend of mine on Friday, and I was letting him know that, he has a daughter that is 17 and she's dating right now. He hates it, right? But him and the mom ain't together. You know what I mean? And mom usually sides with her and tries to be a friend, one of those type of things. And I said, look, I would counter and say that any relationship I had between 17 and 26 was bullshit relationships, right? Because if they didn't manifest into anything by now, there were growing pains to make me better for the relationship that I am now in right now, right? And so with that being said, like some of this stuff isn't feasible for people 18 to 25. You know what I mean? Like buying somebody else's gas, taking them out and going out to places to eat. Like the places I go out and eat now wasn't the places I went to before. Applebee's was popping. Red Robin was popping. You know what I mean? Doghouse Grill in Fresno was popping. That was a nice spot to take somebody to. But, because not like where I went to today for one taco, $9.
Oh yeah, I remember them tacos though.
They're fire. Yeah. They're worth every penny of the $9. But not everybody's able to live like that, right? But some of this other stuff, I agree with her on, right? And I was talking to my mans about this. I feel like not just we're talking about women here, and I hate that, and that's why Susie supposed to bring her ass here. But I could speak from the women's perspective because I've experienced it in terms.
Being a woman?
No. I've experienced what she's talking about as a man. Right, so I can speak for like the women that I had messed around with previously before my wife that met the criteria of what she's talking about, right? Like being able to do simple household things that I do myself, right? I wash my own clothes, right? My wife washes them right now because that's what she enjoys doing, right? It's not, for her, it's like a pet peeve. Like I like to wash on Sundays. It's like when I don't like to do anything. Her day, maybe a Friday or Saturday, my shit, when I come home, end up washed. I don't ask her to do it. She just do it and call it a day. The cleaning shit, again, I will clean on Sundays. I try to like clean up as I go and not make a mess or whatever. But she's right. I've seen women like this, but I've also seen men like this too, right? And that also goes into what you was just talking about right now, just about the different generations, especially these young chicks. They different.
How?
How do I say this without sounding like a sexist, right? Like I've been skating this whole time.
I'm trying to turn you up.
I'm trying not to. I think that the accountability for young chicks isn't the same as older chicks. Like older chicks will make sure that you fed, and maybe that's why I personally prefer women that are older. Right? Like at the time when I was 20 something, give me 35-year-old, 33, got some shit settled. can be able to go out somewhere and pay for their own food and shit like that, like that's dope. Like to me, like, you know what I mean? Like some dudes like to do that. I was talking to a girl the other day and she was like, yo, my boyfriend, he doesn't want me to pay for anything. Right? He just wants me to, I guess he's in the military. He wants me to be a stay-at-home wife and all this other shit. I was like, that's cool. But that shit is fucking dangerous because if shit don't go right and you got a gap in your work history, good luck, Chuck. But yeah, I think it's more so just like the fact of like just not being able to know how. There's women that don't know how to speak to men. There's women that don't know how to like bond and connect, but it's our job and our duty to be able to speak to them. I just seen a post on Instagram saying that Ruby Rose felt like she don't need to talk to men and that they're the ones that reach out and she never texts them first. They always text them her good morning. That type of logic. Now, when you on her status, there's probably dudes that's gonna do that, but after a year or so, you no longer just Ruby Rose to me. You know what I mean? You just some chick that I start dating now. Like what the mystique is gone. What are you offering me? Let me be real. Vagina's not a prize.
But it's gotten them this far, so sometimes it's like
I see the shift happening though. Like men, like I saw a video on Instagram where a dude was like bad bitch goals and all this other shit, but like he was acting like how like women do. Like, oh, it's my birthday, taking photos of his food and shit like that, taking 2 hours to get ready or whatever. There's a shift coming in the culture in about 5 years.
Well, because the men want to be women?
That might be it.
Literally.
The fact that we wearing purses in our pants is tighter and shit. When I say we, I'm just saying men as a whole, not us, not me and you. I ain't got no man bag. You know what I mean? I still am rough around the edges and shit. But I feel like that's going to change. Like there is a feminization. I'm gonna make up a word of the male of men that's on its way.
Oh, it's happened already.
Oh yeah. And people can say, oh, single mothers and all that. That ain't the problem. I don't know what it is. High fashion is part of it too. If high fashion, in my opinion, comes with like feminine traits or would be characteristic of that. What do you think about this?
I'm not thinking about it.
Okay, you just wanted to present it.
I was trying to get you in trouble.
No, I got through pretty good.
Nah,
Good.
I guess she's not wrong, but just like with everything, it's like, okay, it's who are you surrounding yourself with? Because you can say you can switch up any of those things and you'll find somebody that's like that.
Right.
But I think just the overall general consensus of like, men thinking like,
he think he about to get away with this. Just wait. I'm gonna wait for him to finish. I got
women
a
is
question
the
for
prize
him.
and this and that. It's like,
Do you like tricking?
No. But I also can't.
What do you mean?
I'm broke, dog.
Nah, man, don't do that. You got enough.
I mean, I cash up.
You don't. But see, okay, but like, what quality of woman are we talking about? Like that would classify to? Like, I feel like she was reading something yesterday that said like poverty in San Diego is making $75,000 a year.
Don't I know it?
Well, that's what she said. But if you have but that's for one person. If you have a 2-person household or whatever contributing and whatnot, then you're above the poverty line. But like the type of women that I'm talking about is at that number and above. And I feel like at that number, we could be successful and I could trick off and be okay. Like the trick doesn't have to be a Chanel bag. The trick could be like, yo, I'm gonna go out and take you out to eat, and pay for it every time. The trick could be, oh, I'm gonna, buy you some shoes or something like that. They ain't even gotta be an expensive $500-$600 shoes. They could be some $70 Nikes. It's still tricking. Tricking doesn't have a dollar amount. So my question to you is, you still not okay with tricking?
I mean, I trick on my wife if I can. She trick on herself a lot, so I'd be like, we gotta slow down.
You accessing this account? I was in there. But if I do trick on my, actually, you know what? Before me and my wife got married, I used to trick on her more than I have with any other woman.
It's usually how it starts.
Absolutely.
We're like, wait a minute.
Yeah, but how do you get out of it? Like on the chicks that you used to mess around with back then, how'd you get out of it?
You don't set the bar too high.
Yeah.
You don't start off with a bang.
But see, you know what?
But then again, back then, we also come up, our generation was that whole like, we courted differently. It's like, oh, I'm talking to this person.
Oh yeah, get into the differences though. I need to know.
We getting straight to the, Like,
I don't even know how Gen Z dates.
we're like the Netflix and chill people. We're like, we don't even have to like hang out. Like, I just go straight to your house and just start busting you down. Like, that's how that our age bracket kind of grew up.
Not here now. We're not there anymore.
I don't know.
Nah, we're bad. You got to do a flight to Tulum.
Oh, that.
That's minimum, mandatory minimum.
Oh yeah, I just gotta be single. Damn.
You got to do. You know what it is? It's not the women though. It's the men.
Well, yeah, because they just offer it up.
The men just offer that up because that reminded me. I saw a DR
Ain't got no
story,
jokes.
and the dude was like, "Look, man, y'all got to stop coming down here and raising the price."
I feel him. I gotta live here, man.
He was like, the average woman out here lives off of like $50 a month, and y'all over here spending that within a couple of hours. Like, yo, you messing up the ecosystem that we got out here. I was crying when he said that, but he's right. Right? Like when you start setting standards, and I'm not saying that women aren't deserving of that, right? But at the same token, I want to have a fair shake too, you know what I mean? And not let finances or circumstances be there. But that has also been a cultural shift too, right? Like we talked about, like, I don't see women going after like military dudes or dudes with hardworking jobs anymore. It's usually the guys that work smarter that make money without having to do all that. Because the expectation is that if you work smarter, you can spend more time with me doing the things that I like doing.
Well, there's also technology has rendered so many more ways to make money now. So it's like,
true.
You know, it's not just, oh shit, I don't know what to do. School ain't for me, so I'm gonna just hop in the military. Like, that's kind of what it was.
Yeah.
For a long time, but now it's.
See, them chicks back in the day would live on base with you.
In the barracks.
The chicks back in the day will live on in the barracks with you. You be all right. Hit my hand class, man.
Still.
That's funny. They'll be right there in the barracks. Am I in the wrong? My ex-girlfriend, Claire, she's 35, got pregnant while we were dating. Although she told me she just wanted to be friends, I was ready to be a father. However, she met someone else, Becca, who didn't want me around. So they asked me to cancel my paternal rights. At the time, I was torn because I wanted to be there for my child, but I also felt that if they didn't want me around, it was best to waive my rights. That dude's soft. That's crazy.
Wait, she just switched sides?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if she already liked the other side, so I can't foreshadow like what was actually going on there.
No, I know what happened.
What happened?
She wanted a natural baby. She been gay the whole time.
She
wanted a baby though, so she's like, "Oh, it's my friend."
Yeah, because she met someone that's crazy.
She was already there.
She met what she was looking for. After fighting for a while, I eventually gave up because it was clear that they didn't want me there. Fast forward 13 years later, Claire and Becca are going through some stuff, and they want me to pay child support.
Yo, what's up with this dude?
Why are you still? Well, I mean, he's still in contact with him, but they didn't want you there. That's kind of crazy. However, the court had already ruled that since I waived my paternal rights, I am not legally obligated to pay child support. Hey, that's a dub. That's a dub. If I ever seen one. If I'm gonna pay I'll wait. Despite this, Claire is calling me a bastard.
No, actually, a child is, because you wouldn't let me stay around.
Oh,
I can handle a little name calling.
Be mature, Claire. Hey, I'm gonna get all my bag. I'm gonna get in my bag. I swear.
I ain't that baby's daddy.
You calling me a bastard is crazy, and a deadbeat.
I've awoken.
The irony is crazy. Hey, but this is. Nah, I ain't gonna say it. Look, it's Mother's Day. Here we go.
Man, we've already called men the prize. And
Nah, I didn't say men was the prize. I just said that traditionally speaking, that we still make more money than them. I want women to make more. I want my daughter to make more, especially when she get of age. And she's even calling my family and getting them involved. Oh, damn. 13 years later, she still got them numbers too? Well, I understand her frustration. Do you?
Oh yeah, he definitely hit her with passive aggressive.
Yeah, he in his bag. That's fire. I like that. That's a win right there. That's as good as a jab.
You're upset, but
yeah,
I have to follow the rules of law. The law says that it's not my child.
Oh man, while I understand her frustration, I don't think it's appropriate for her to be involved in my family in this matter. Am I in the wrong? My answer is no. And I will say that there are things he can do to make it right. Just because it's 13 years later, we know people, on a personal level that have connected with their fathers years later. You know what I mean? And so at the same time, I think that this is a good opportunity. You have a 13-year-old, they're able to understand the concept of, father, mother, how things typically work without science. You know what I mean? You got a birth father that's out there that cares about you, and mom was on some bullshit, right? It be like that sometimes, right? As much as we like to look at our parents as heroes and they make the right choices and stuff like that, they're human beings too, right? So mom messed up on this one. Becca wasn't holding it down like she was supposed to. No implications there. She's probably capable. I'm sure she works hard at the Coca-Cola factory. You know what I mean? But it's just not working.
I made 13 years without having an ass.
I mean, yeah. So he says right there. But they're going through. Did he say that they're going? He said they're going through some stuff. Okay, so then something happened. So
yeah, maybe they're good as a couple. It's just maybe like job loss or some shit.
What would you do in this situation if that was you? 13 years without seeing your kid comes up, but it's your kid, so it's like almost an obligation. Kid's biologically linked to you.
See the emotional toll that would have taken on me. Like I already paid for it emotionally. Now you want me to actually give you some cash?
Right. But you have to address the situation because it involves you no matter how you try to slice it. Because even if your kid hit you up at 18 and was like, look, man, it was hell over there. You like, look, man, your mom's is tripping. I tried, I tried my best. You probably didn't say nothing negative about her or nothing like that, but you just.
I mean, that's how it be though. Like when the kid gets older and they get more mature, then they'll start questioning. I mean, that's what I did. I was like, yo, dog, I ain't got no beef with you. I totally understand what the fuck you. You dodged a bullet, didn't you, big dog?
It's actually it was bright. It was actually refreshing to hear this conversation. Hey, and then you sit back and you think like, damn, years later, those things are still like some of the things that's going on. Yeah, I feel it. So what I would do, especially my parental rights are gone. It's been 13 years, nothing I can do about that legally. But you want some cash for me? I need to see my kid. And I will pay you after each visit. So if you want $500, cool. I want to see my kid 5 times this month. $100 per. I will pay you for that. There's nothing legally obligated about that, right? So if you want this money, the best way that I can do it, I can Venmo you, I can Zelle, because I'm of this era. You know what I mean? We're old enough to have a 13-year-old. Who knows how old they were when it happened? Send me the money. You know what I mean? Or send me the kid. And I'll send you the money, but I need to spend time with my kid alone, unsupervised.
You think he's not a father at this point?
No, because he says here that they didn't want him involved, and he terminated.
No, I'm saying like he got with someone else.
Maybe, but that wouldn't stop me from wanting to. Because if you have do you have any other brothers or sisters on your dad's side? But if you did, would you want to talk to him? Why not?
I mean, yeah,
to have some kind of information on what's going on.
Yeah. I mean, I would, but I don't see myself aligning with a lot of. I see a lot of cultural differences. Oh, like they got green bean stuff, like a whole package, a green bean package. Like how like you play 2K and you got like the dribble package. You don't probably play 2K, but they got the package. Idea what that means. But you could buy a dribble package. So theirs is you could buy dribble package like crossover package, hezzy package. Like you could buy all that. So for them it'd be a green bean, green bean package. You don't know what they got. So anyway, go ahead. We just two different worlds. But it's like,
but you gotta do something in this regard, though. So, like, to me, I felt like that's a pretty solid plan. Because any woman in this situation,
never walked out the situation to begin with without hitting that. Go get another sperm.
I want to know where he's at. I like for him to lose like that is crazy. Maybe he didn't get an attorney. Maybe he didn't fight hard enough. Because once you understand the court process, it's fairly simple. You know what I mean? Like it makes sense. But. Yeah. All right. I guess you just along for the ride there. You don't know what's gonna happen then.
I would.
You don't like my plan?
I would have never walked out without hitting that, getting that.
Man, this is crazy. All right, man. Hit my head class, man. That's funny. I'm definitely
get a wire hanger or something. I know some hood back in the day.
It's Mother's Day, man.
Can't hit no girl. I got some.
It's
I think
Mother's
they'll still
Day.
ride for me.
This dude is crazy. It's Mother's Day. Oh man, shows to watch. Now I don't have a show that I want to add on there, but I do want to talk about the one Lex was talking about because he didn't do it justice when he was explaining it, and maybe because he didn't finish all of it.
Nah, because I'll be watching shit. I watched that like 4 months ago.
What, that show?
You talking about the pilot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's it called?
The Invisible Pilot?
So The Invisible Pilot on HBO is the one that Lex talked about, right? We talked about the man being dead and all those other things. But the thing that struck me the most is that documentary alone was a centerpiece in all of the shows that we have liked in the last 5 or 6 years. Like it was the missing link to the puzzle. We're talking about a man that met Pablo Escobar, that met one of the Melendez brothers, or not Melendez. Melendez is the one that murdered their parents. The dudes that was the cocaine cowboys in Miami. He met them. He ran guns to the Contras and stuff like that. You know, he was doing, runs in different territories, dealing with all the different cartels and stuff. And he also validated the fact that, Ronald Reagan, was, definitely dealing guns and stuff like that to the Contras and John Hole and all of them. And it was crazy because the doc gives a better explanation than what Snowfall and all those other places give you because, they're telling the story as far as the perspective of the character. I mean, from the perspective of the main characters. And so with this, as a pilot, right, this is based on a true story. He was able to corroborate the story. But the problem was that during that time, by the time that, was it John Kerry? John Kelly, whoever the senator was, he ran for president for a while back. By the time he put all that shit together, the government no longer cared, and they considered Ronald Reagan a successful president at that point. And so that's just crazy to me because it reminded me at the end of Snowfall, spoiler alert if you haven't watched it, how Franklin's mom kind of sounded a little nutty during that time period of saying, hey, the CIA was doing this, they've been bringing drugs in here. And it's like, it's not that this woman was lying or anything like that. It's just that the story sounds so far-fetched that it isn't that it seems that it isn't true. But indeed it was. So I like that. I like the show that Alex, and that was probably the best one he's recommended in a while. But I like that one because to me, it was just the missing link. Like you had a pilot that was actually there running the cargo, and you're sitting here asking yourself, how do you corroborate the story? Well, when he went down and he met with the Senate and everything, he told them the whole access codes, what bank he was at, where he was staying at, the name of the guy that was there that was a CIA contact. There was way too many coincidences for that not to be true for a white man that was living in one of those small, where was it from? Like Mississippi or Alabama or something like that. That was a sharecropper. Or a plain dude. So, that sprays the little plants and shit. But yeah.
Crazy life.
Yeah. And he lived.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he lived. But he not living good right now. It's crazy. Like, when you see how they come back, like, bro, when you see all the medications on the cabinet and they sit in the chair, just kind of like life that took its toll on them.
Hey, man. Someone want to write this story about me? I feel like, yeah.
Yeah.
He probably wanted to keep all that shit to himself.
Absolutely. I don't think he want, but yeah, and I'm sure he did because the guy who did it was like a guy that went to high school with his son, and they didn't like the stories that he was telling. But yeah, and it turns out it was a whole scheme. But anyway, go ahead.
I'll see what I was watching a few weeks ago. It's kind of ties into current events to the the Lori Vallow story.
No.
So she just got found guilty for killing her children.
Oh, I do remember that popping up.
Netflix has a doc called Sins of Our Mother. And
tell a little bit about Lori Vallow if you know.
This was like 3 weeks ago. But basically, her kids vanish one day, and it's basically a whole plot with her new dude, and her brother. That's basically wild. They killed him and then they buried him in their own backyard.
They found the bodies later on?
Yeah. And
how do you go about your day? You know what I mean? Like that, like you got to be in a whole different mind state to just like do some shit like that and then walk outside in the backyard and drink coffee.
Like cult. She was believing like basically she killed him because she thought there was like a darkness to them that they weren't. She killed the kids. She killed her ex. She was killing people.
Which is their dad?
Did she kill her dad? Yes.
That's fucking wild.
Or her brother did most of the killing, but it's like they whatever religion they were believing in was like, like some Dexter Dark Passenger shit was like, that's not really Carl. I think that's Eric. I don't like Eric. Eric's a bad person, and so somehow the dark person or whatever entered the kids, and it was like, I have no problem killing them because those aren't my kids anymore.
Yeah, that's
and it's like, and she's like, because one of the older kids is still alive, and he's like telling us the story.
Yeah,
and he's just like, yeah, it's fucking it. Like some of the stuff they got her on like record saying, like she's nuts. And
so what, they gave her life or did they give her the death penalty? Do we have the death penalty still in California, or is it in California?
No, it's in where was it? Yeah, I gotta start taking these shows as soon as I watch them.
Yeah.
Thing is, we be skipping weeks or where we don't talk about it, and I'll be like, But no, the trial just finished, and I didn't follow the trial. It's like, that's that crazy bro.
Oh, they haven't done sentencing yet.
I think they might have, but it literally just happened.
No, like this week.
That's why I was thinking, I was like, this shit's still going on. Like, were they supposed to be? Because sometimes you gotta wait for some years before you can start telling stories.
No, I just tell the jury not to watch any of that stuff.
Well,
we live in a weird time though. I heard the take the other day. It was like, they kept calling Tory Lanez. Like his name is Daystar, but it don't hit the same. Like we know Tory Lanez, but they be saying it like that's his real name, but his name is Daystar Peterson. So like, and they were giving you all the trial run through with him in real time. So it's like you're not getting to get your just due. I don't know if he shot that girl in the foot or not, but yeah, they didn't even.
I don't
get
see
him
how
on
you
that.
can keep any jury like.
Yeah,
I don't see how you can keep any like at this point in time. Like it was different with OJ and shit. They just had them in the rooms, and you couldn't watch TV, you couldn't talk to people. I don't see how you can do that in this day and age.
Do you serve your jury duty summons?
On the record, yes.
Okay. Me too.
For the pod?
On the record.
They ain't found me. Actually, they did find me.
They find me, but
the one day I was going to go, I was actually going to go one day, and I think I forgot, or something else came up, and I was like, all right. But I was like, I'm going to go do it, because I feel like if somebody stops me right now, I'm going to get arrested.
You can get arrested for not doing that?
Yeah, it's your civic duty.
Nah.
It's breaking the law when you don't.
Shit, someone's going 75 into 65. Man.
I can't. Days are gone. I can't say, like back in the day, I used to say, I'm too poor. Like I can't because I got to go to work. And they call it like a hardship something.
Yeah, but you got to call them and do all that.
Yeah, I did that one time. Otherwise, I just haven't been.
They've sent me about 3 in the last 9 years. I haven't responded to one.
I haven't answered.
But I mean, it is what it is. You can't do nothing about it.
I hope they keep having bigger fish to fry. So I was like, it's a common thing.
Yeah,
they can't lock us all up.
No. 3 cheers, man. Let's get you out of here.
3 cheers.
I wanted to talk about John Morant just a little bit, but my man can't get right, dog. Now you get the button. We ain't got to be here too long for that. Yeah, I ain't waste my time. Something's wrong with him, man. I'm not gonna cheer that or nothing like that, but yeah.
I'm not gonna cheer. I'm just gonna say it in the 3 cheers
That shit
section.
crazy. Shout out to Robert De Niro. Had a newborn baby at the age of 79. So I can only imagine. You got 2 children at that point. Like if you're the mom, like you got 2 kids at that point.
He out here still firing.
Both of them was wearing diapers, and something tells me like she assisted in this. Like dropped 2 pills in that thing just to make sure, because I knew it stopped working a long time ago. Like, yeah. Shout out to my man Robert De Niro, man. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Again, I've been keeping my 3 cheers very simple. I'm waiting for the summertime to really get some shit off. Lex had a nice fire run in winter, but I'm save mine.
Yeah, just.
Oh, and the Lakers. I gotta give the Lakers a little bit of shout out too, man. I didn't think they could be Golden State to the point where this is why I don't watch ESPN, because like one day later after the Lakers beat Golden State, is this the end of the dynasty, bro? They just won last year with the same formula.
No, but it is because Draymond's not coming back.
Why do you think that?
I don't know.
You think like the front office won't have him back more so
I think it's a money issue. He's due to get paid.
Who's gonna pay for Draymond? He's Dylan Brooks 3.0 over me.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, we got to get out of here on
He
that
said
one.
so. He's probably had about 12 good playoff games out of all of the games they played.
See,
because you talk about this floor general shit.
You're the number guy.
I look at that.
There's
yes,
a
but
lot of shit
I understand
intangible.
he commands. I get the intangibles, right? He commands the defense. and all
Steph
that.
Curry wouldn't have had the career he had without Draymond.
It's hard to say. Yeah, because there's a guy that's passive in offense. You need that to happen.
No, but it's not. It's not just that. It's not just he doesn't take as many shots, so I can take the shots.
He's a great defender, or was, right? He was a great defender because right now they're all at the age right now. A lot of the greats that we see, James Harden, we can add Steph Curry in there. We can add Kevin Durant in there. This is the year right now where I'm starting to see like Father Time is starting to kick in for a lot of these guys.
Yeah.
And it's it's like, it's the rise of the new stars.
I'm not saying they should pay him. I understand your thought, like who's gonna pay Draymond a max contract at this point? Like I get that part. But for Golden State specifically, that dynasty does not work without him. So yeah, they'll still, Curry did a lot by himself. Like he can do a lot. It's just, it's not gonna be. You can't just. Even though he averages like 9 and 9, you're like, I can pick that up off the street and replace him.
Absolutely.
You can't, because it's something else. Dillon Brooks is crazy.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm sure my man Jordan Poole will feel a lot safer now that he's gone. So.
Jordan Poole.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Jordan Poole's big ass liability. So
they paid him all that money. They could have did something different.